2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Good morning. Tobel and Machelon. But both one. Abshen. Minjan. Ikona. Lava kusungula ne. We want to start with our program. It's going to be a very interesting program, and it's going to be very short. We are going to start shortly. Everyone is here. The most important guests are yourselves. So please give yourself a round of applause. As of today, it's good to see you. As of today, my name is Casey Mathoma. I'm going to be one of the program directors for the day. And I'm not alone. She'll introduce herself and we'll start running on the program.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies, actually, first preference for me. Good morning. How are you doing today? Oh, no. Good morning. Like, it's a brilliant morning today because literally the day is just for you. The men, men, you are used to this. We just want to give preference to the females because it is, after all, the Women in Sport Summit. Welcome once again. My name is Kirabetse Wagamolapo.
Right. The program is just going to begin. Thank God you don't have the program, so we can change it as we want. Ne? We can change it as we want. So if we say now it's your turn to present, please just come and present, even if you are not in the program. I'm joking. As indicated, my name is Casey Mathoma. We are going to be running the program with Riabetswe. The program is going to be very short. Just a simple request to all the panelists. Everyone is going to ask questions. Please be brief. Please be short. Please be straight to the point. So that by 12:30, we go and change and wear all those imports from China for the awards. Ne?
I thought they're from Istanbul. Why China?
Istanbul?
Yeah, no.
All right. So we are going to start with the program on the first item, Riabetswe.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to then begin with the program. And we're having an opening and welcome by the president of the Limpopo Sports Confederation. Can we please welcome him with a warm round of applause, Mr. Ali Pule.
Thanks very much, program directors. Honorable MEC Mama Nakedi Kekana, our Vice President SASCOC, Ms. Luandile Semelani, President of Netball South Africa, present with us, Ms. Cecilia Mulukwani. We are also acknowledging the presence of the South African Women's Sport Foundation Chair, Mama Ntambira Vele, Women in Sport Coordinator in the Limpopo Sport Confederation, Mama Riale Dwaba, Founder Chairperson Footballing Girls NPO, Mama Monira, Acting Chief Director in absentia, President of District Sport Confederation, Federation Media Houses, Corporate Houses gathered here, Women in Sport Leadership. Good morning. Rere. Ikamala makosikazi malibongwe. Ikamala makosikazi malibongwe. Malebongwe, 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 malibongwe, kamala makosikazi, malibongwe, ekamala makosikazi, malibongwe, 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 Kumnandi Kubala. I think you will allow me to address you as Lady Ali because the day belongs to ladies. Lady Ali is saying and acknowledging that historic and defining moment is being ushered in this morning, and all of us here are living witnesses to that particular moment. That being said, Honorable MEC, we remain humbled because you have proven outstandingly to be an enabler of note. It is through your leadership that we are able to register a first in the history of Limpopo. We have never had an event as lovely, as beautiful, and as unique, as biased towards women like we are having this morning. Vice President Saskok, Madam Landile Simelane, thanks very much. You were a witness on the 3rd of June at Zororo Lodge when this was conceptualized. And you made a commitment, and the commitment you made is what brought you here, and thank you for that. We are meeting today at a time where gender parity still remain a worrying effect. Most of us who listened to analysts addressing us on the 9th of August, just like Lady Ali here, you'll be worried. Because there's a worrying statement that was said on the 9th of August this year, which went on to declare that when it comes to equity, it will take more than 100 years to be achieved. I said, we know, not in Limpopo, not in this chapter of the country. We need to take that change. We need to lead that particular change. Hence, we are gathered here. As we meet this morning, shall we kindly rise and congratulate and acknowledge the following. Madam Cecilia Molokwane. Can we give her a round of applause, ladies? It took a special woman in her to register a history that shook not the country, but the universe. The world now knows that there is Limpopo. The world now knows that the World Cup trophy went through the valleys, the mountain, and the rivers of this country. It has never happened in the history of this country, but it had to take somebody special from Limpopo and is with us here today. We take this opportunity as we start this seminar, a summit, to congratulate one special athlete, Kgothatso Montjane, who has proven beyond any reasonable doubt that inability can be defeated by the ability to instill positive mental attitude. Let's congratulate that. How do we fail to congratulate Mama Tshepo Mathabate, President of Limpopo Business Forum? We are what we are as Limpopo Sport Confederation because of her guidance and wisdom. She told us in no uncertain terms, you need to change how you do business. As sport, create yourself as a market that is worthy to partner with. Mama Tshepo, we thank you. Amongst us, we've got a pioneer of sport leadership, woman of colors. She has led, she has proven the resilience of leadership. Let's put our hands as we celebrate Mama Ntambira Vele. That's how rich Limpopo is. And the list will go endless. But let me be allowed to limit myself into thanking one special woman. When we requested her services, many questions were asked. Are you sure? And we said, yes, we are sure. And when we called and say, are you willing to join and be of assistance and impact into the development of sport? The first word that she said after accepting to be of service to the nation of Limpopo was, "Can you really provide me with your constitution and policy so that I know the direction I should pursue?" Our hands together for none other than Mama Riale Dwaba. It will be ideal that as I move towards conclusion, I thank the corporate world. You know, it is so inspiring and encouraging to have you with us. I think you are reading the emotions of society. Sport remains the pillar of hope. Sport remains the creator of joy and happiness within our society. It is in sport, when tickets goes to sale, you find that tickets are sold out within a short space of time. That in itself goes on to tell how big sport is. And you are worthy to partner with sport. And we need to thank you for that. Round of applause to our corporate world gathered here. Let me conclude by expressing my hope that by the end of business today, we are going to change how women in sport is viewed. It is extremely worrying to see women in sport being treated as a charity, as an expanded public works program. Women sweating only to find that nothing is being paid to watch the talent. I'm inspired by what I saw from Cricket Limpopo, a new franchise, Impala, under one of us here. They are having their first match against Mpumalanga next week, which we should commit to support. They did not allow the first franchise match to be a free entry. They value women. They know that there should be a token of appreciation to watch the talent that is entrenched in our women. They are charging a humbling mere 25 rand entrance fee. How much do we pay for Banyana Banyana? Absolutely nothing. And look where they are. Is it justifiable? Let's change the storyline. We've got what it takes to make it happen. That being said, we thank your presence and wish you the best of success. Thank you, program directors.
Let's continue giving him a round of applause. Wow. Lady Ali. Lady Ali. Yeah, no, that singing was brilliant. I am a very good teacher. Thank you for taking my notes. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I think without any waste of time, leadership is in the house. The MEC of Sports, Arts and Culture is in the house. Can we give her a round of applause? Before you move, MEC, before you move, I think, please come back to your seat. I want to talk to a few people before you speak. I think we don't appreciate you enough. Ever since you started, I have met you in almost every sporting event that I've been an MC of. And I think Tuntabi was saying the other day, your first event was a cricket event. Irrespective of the magnitude of the event, you are there. But before you come, let's talk to a few people. Good morning. Please just introduce yourself and say, what are you looking forward to today?
Hi, my name is Renuka Ramrup. I'm from fencing, and I'm just looking forward to working with all the amazing people here and coming up with some amazing results.
When she said amazing people, I know she meant Casey Mathoma. Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Please introduce yourself and just tell us, what are you looking forward to today?
Okay, I'm Melkanka Dimeng from Skokune. I'm here to learn and to know how leaderships work and to be active in sports. Thanks.
Right, be active in sports. I don't know, for us to get to Mam Ria's level, it might take us another 100 years, eh? Because, wow, this woman is a powerhouse. Good morning. Please introduce yourself. You know the drill, eh?
Morning. This is Roland Matebula. I'm from Blue Bulls, Limpopo. My expectations is to see these women moving from this level to another level, taking these Limpopo women in sport, taking all these women to our greatest heights.
Let's give that a round of applause. Just because your specs looks nice, ne? I'm coming to you. Please introduce yourself and just tell us, what are you looking forward to today?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Tandi Matuta. I am from a responsible corporate citizen metropolitan, and we are here today to say we are pledging our support to women in sport, and we are here to see what they are able to do in impacting women who are in sports, and that's what we are all about today.
Wow. Thank you very much. I had her from Metropolitan pledging to say in all the events of Metropolitan, Casey and Riabeto will be the MCs.
I mean, like.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, without any waste of time, I want to me, she's leadership. To you, she's MEC. I couldn't say hi to you yesterday in my card. But yeah, I couldn't say hi because you left early, but it's fine. I want to introduce to you a woman who needs no introduction. If I start reading a profile, we are all going to be here until the end of the day. But ladies and gentlemen, please stand up and give a loud round of applause to the MEC of Sports, Arts and Culture, Me Nakedi Kekana Sibanda. You can do better than that. You can do better. You can do better. You can do better than that. Let's continue giving her a round of applause.
Thank you very much. Our program directors, our most vibrant program directors. Let me take this opportunity, of course, to echo what Ntate Pole has already alluded to say, indeed, this is the most historic event we have ever had as Limpopo Department of Sport, Arts and Culture. And I can indeed attest that this is the most expensive event. One of the commodities, of course, the scarce resources. I can see the commodities here, converged here today with a variety of skills and expertise. And I hope for a fact that with the skills we are going to acquire today, because education is an ongoing thing, together and collectively, we're going to make sure that indeed we do more to address the plight of women, in particular, the women coming from the deep rural, the downtrodden, the most marginalized, and I want to thank you. I became very much emotional when I entered the briefing session room. When I see a woman in pink, of course, this is October month, and also beyond that, to see the women in substance, the phenomenal women of fortitude, like yourselves. And also to see Maureen Cecilia Mulokwan. I understand the tight schedule that she's engaged in, but she's here with us. just to make sure that emanating from this meeting, indeed, the lives of the people are going to be improved and improved to the better. Program Director, the President of Limpopo Sport Confederation, Mr. Alipole, First Vice President of SASCOC, Mewarena Luandile Simelan, we love you, Mama. The President of Netball Africa and South Africa, Me Cecilia Mlokwani, our icon. The founder and chairperson, Footballing Girls, NPO, Ms. Monira Ramatula. The chairperson of Education Committee, Tsepo Matawata. We thank you so much, Mama. The President has already extended the accolades to you, Mama, in terms of the good work that you are doing, and we thank you so much. The founder of South African Women and Sports Foundation, founder and chairperson, Ntambi Ravele, all sponsors and partners that are here, we are really honored. If it wasn't because of you, we wouldn't have held this magnitude event today, the event that we call it the most historic event in Limpopo. And we thank you so much. This is part of partnership, of course, that is alluded to by the President of this country, to make sure that indeed we build the social compact comprising of yourself, women from corporate world, community, labor, and business fraternity. Panelists and facilitators, we thank you so much, our panelists. You are going to make sure that in the evening, indeed, it was not easy for you to select out of all the skills, the expertise, the competencies, you were able to select the chosen few. But at the end of the day, everybody will be a winner this evening. And I know for a fact that it wasn't easy for you to select out of all of the expertise that were shown by the women who contested this Women in Sport Award. Because all of them, they were genuine. But at the end of the day, you made it to select but few. Ladies and gentlemen, the day that which we have been counting down has arrived. It is nothing short of excitement and a sense of success. And as a woman, I feel that indeed we are enough and we can achieve whatsoever we put our minds to. The excellent performance of women in sport through team sport and individual excellence has prompted the need to profile this posture and celebrate it accordingly. Hence, we are here today, and proudly so. But before we celebrate the success of women in sport later this evening, it is important that we talk of how inspirational the influence of women from Limpopo has been at both the national and international space, like what Ntate Pole has already alluded to. That is beyond the very borders of our province, because most of the excellence are hailing from this province, the beautiful province of Limpopo. The impact made by women in transforming communities through sport is underrated. Hence, the need to objectively raise our voices in celebration of their valuable contributions. However, in our engagements here, let us ensure that we emphasize on the understanding and further call to action the implementation, because we can sit down and plan and coin the resolutions, but without the implementation, we cannot be able to improve the life of the ordinary people on the ground. The Department of Sport, Arts and Culture has recognized that a lot still needs to be done to lure participation of women in sport, and that attraction to sport should follow a systematic and policy level. Our engagements here should also be at that technical level on how to address it. The issue of policy is very much important, and I'm saying this precisely in terms of what is happening in South Africa right now with the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, Honorable Zizi Kodwa, of course, with the Parliament of South Africa, who are busy to make sure that indeed they amend the policies that deals with the issue of anti-doping, and that one is very much important. Hence, I'm saying that the crafting of the policies are very much important, and the implementation thereafter, because if we fail to comply, be it the domestic policies, the national policies, or the international policies, we are bound to fail, and that in itself will be disappointing all the skills that we have already mentioned that our women in sport has acquired. My department, both here in the province and nationally led by the minister, has utilized various instruments, including the grant framework conditions and direct dedicated funding, as well as conditional fundings, as instruments to promote the development of female sport. That is very much important because as the department was tasked, of course, to make sure that we build nation building across the nation, the continent, and also building a better world. And in so doing, we need to make sure that collectively we work together to make sure that we develop women in sport, especially at rural areas. By the closing date of the nomination process, Program Director, we had received a groundbreaking record of over 860 nominations, which goes on to loudly tell how massive the women in sport, the vision is. The NC-led government has ensured that the national gender machinery, as outlined in the 2000 South African National Policy Framework for Women's Empowerment and Gender Equality, is an integrated package of structure located at various levels of state, civil society, and within the statutory bodies. Hence, we acknowledge the work of the statutory bodies. Limpopo Sport Confederation, we thank you so much because indeed we are saying the first line of defense is the organization. One of your key engagements areas here today is women in leadership and their legacy. The government has numerous times acknowledged that some women have accessed the arena of public power and that there's been a gradual marginalization of the politics of transformation in gender. In conclusion, Program Director, in the formal institutions of the state and inclusion of the term gender equality in policy documents has not necessarily led to the redistribution of resources and power in ways that change the structural forces on which women's operation rests. The challenges is to ensure collective action for the active development and implementation of policies and practices that addresses the needs of women. I therefore challenge you in your commissions to make an impact in addressing such challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, rural women's development must be enhanced through increased job creation. We have women that have graduated in sport-related courses, and we need to find ways to assist them obtain those opportunities. I again challenge you to address those challenges in your recommendations that will later be heard when you'll be discussing the plight of women in various panelists. And as I conclude, I would like to indicate that indeed, Limpopo province, we are a rich province. Those who were attending the Limpopo Investment Conference, they were there. They can attest to the fact that as Limpopo, we are rich in terms of the economic spin-offs, our mining, our agricultural sector, as well as tourism. So this is the opportunity whereby we need to make sure that as we'll be deliberating on the issue of women empowerment, we mustn't forget that out of the resolutions emanating from that investment conference, Limpopo province was able to acquire more than 37 billion of the people, the countries, amongst the BRICS countries, and also the SADC countries who pledged for 37 billion, and that in itself will be able to improve the lives of the people. We want to see the CEOs of those mining, of course, being the women like yourself. And we want to see the social responsibilities emanating from all these pledges, be it the malls, the mining, agricultural center. We want to see all these benefits or the economic spin-offs benefiting ordinary women on the ground in the form of social responsibilities. And I thank you.
Okay. Wow. Thank you so much, MEC. As an MBA candidate, I fully... No. Barry, how do you know somebody's doing an MBA? They always mention it. So as an MBA candidate, what you've mentioned is 100% important, because sport is not just a hobby or a side hustle. For many, it's a livelihood, and that's how serious we need to take sports. It's not just something that you start from, go crash, go primary school. We spend 12 years in primary school and high school participating in sports, only to leave it when we go to university or college. Yet, it's literally the foothold of changing society. It's the foothold of community development. And as Lady Ali mentioned, it's a mindset development opportunity. Sports, arts, and culture is the foundational part of childhood and human development. It is where we learn things like discipline, which we then use later on in our careers, which we then use in our livelihoods. And if we don't take and understand the importance of sport and how it impacts our livelihoods, we're never going to see the benefits of what she's mentioned. And if we then also realize statistically how many women there are in Limpopo province, how many women there are in South Africa, how many women there are on the African continent, we'll then begin to understand the economical opportunities and benefits that sport is able to unlock. People like Miss Cecilia was able to see that. Unali foresight. In business, we call it push-pull analysis. And she was able to see that and understand that if we are able to gather together, both corporate, government, and communities, develop our young people, our young women, things like teenage pregnancy and drugs will not be an issue. I'm currently working on my international business assignment. And one of the things that I want to critically emphasize is what is it that Africa can export to the world? But exporting doesn't necessarily mean take out. But how do we then bring in international trade through sports? So whether it is through the entire value chain, we need to see female representation from a participation perspective, but also then the boardrooms. From a corporate perspective as well, because sports is business. And if we begin to see it, like Alfepo said, it is a business. And we begin to position it that way, then we'll be able to understand how important days like this and expanding it to a national tour. Please, I'm giving you business ideas. National tour, having conversations across the province about how can females, women, young girls be more inspired and motivated to dive deep into this. And since we're talking about business, it then becomes important to then bring in the first panel session that we have, and we have our facilitator, who is Advocate Mulatelo Mahapa. We've got legal practitioners, legal minds, who are also understanding the importance of sports. If I give you her profile, you'll understand. So essentially, she's a legal practitioner, right, in the High Court of South Africa. She's also part of the World Dance Sport Federation, and she's, playing the role of chairperson in the Equality Commission. And one of the things that we also need to remember is that equality and equity are not the same thing. And it is then that we understand the pertinence and the importance of females, women, understanding the role that they are playing, not only from an economical perspective, but also from a livelihood perspective. We have more females, we have more people understanding what it takes, what happens on the ground, which is ladies such as yourself. So we'd like more engagement during the panels, especially the Q&A session. So while they're speaking, please jot down your questions, and then we'll revert during that session. She's also the chairperson of SASCOC, judicial body. She's a former vice president of Limpopo Sport Confederation. She's a former chairperson of Limpopo Academy of Sport, Gauteng Sport Confederation. List is very long. She's a chairperson of Transformation Commission. She's a vice president of the Capricorn Sport Confederation. She's the vice president of Federation of Dance Sport Limpopo, the professional ballroom and Latin. She's here. She's gonna hit some really nice moves for us. And she's a professional ballroom, as I said, Latin and American dance coach. Can we please, warm round of applause for Advocate Molatelo Mahapa. And alongside her, she's obviously not going to go alone. She's facilitating the session after all. And I'd like to introduce to you the panelists that will be joining her. And we have Munira Ramatula, Dr. Rinakam Ramrup, Ntabiseng Posa, Leletu Nkula, and Sam Baloy. Can we please also invite them on the stage with a round, warm hand of applause.
Thank you very much, Ms. Program Director. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I will start before, I get checked out because of protocol matters. I would like to acknowledge Mewarena, MEC, Menakedi Kekana, and obviously the leadership of government, and acknowledge as well Mewarena Lwandile Simelani. She's the first vice president of the SASCOC, and now it's called the Sports SA, so that people are now moving with the times, and acknowledge the entire leadership of the Sports Confederation, and would like to acknowledge Tate Alipole, our president, Limpopo Sports Confederation. My dear sister, the president of presidents, Juanet Ball, and protocol observed. Maybe let me acknowledge as well all the federations, our constituencies. We are here because of you. So we need to make sure that we do justice to the process and acknowledging all of you. Then I would like to take this opportunity without waste of time, because we have a lot to discuss, and introduce, as they mentioned, our beautiful panel here. We have another panelist who's not here, but will link with her virtually, and we will start with her because she's got a number of commitments that she has to attend to. I will start first by acknowledging Dr. Renuka Ramrup. She is the chairperson of the Limpopo Fencing Association, and through her leadership, she has broadened the growth and profile of fencing in Limpopo, taking the sport to underserved communities in the province. And obviously, her CV, if I can continue with it, will stay here forever. But you'll see why they are here, why they are chosen, because of their expertise. And next that we have in line, Renalinda De Sam Baloyi. Tata Sam Baloyi is a global speaker, a leadership coach, and as well a facilitator. He is a banker by profession. Ching Ching is coming. And an author of 12 books with subjects ranging from personal development, leadership, and crisis management. Samuel is the current student of human resource management at Millpark Business School. So even him, if I proceed, will stay forever here and not be able to even go to the next session. Then we have Me Munira. Me Munira Ramatuba. Ramatula, sorry. Me Munira Ramatula is an entrepreneur who specializes in travel and tourism, digital marketing, and video production, creative directing, and editing. As well, you know, the CV is endless. And I'm just, you know, doing the snapshots or the snippets of their CVs. We have Men Tabiseng Posa, Aramis, and am I wrong? Am I? Thank you. Arakiri says, I'm getting intimidated, but I'm the steering today. Okay, her bio goes as follows. Born in 1990 in Polokwane, Seshego, and currently lives in Polokwane, and played hockey and swam professionally. Was an athlete all her life. She started as cricket admin in 2012, then senior women's team manager in 2014, and in 2015, she was promoted to KFC Mini Cricket Provincial HOD. She's the first woman in Limpopo to be an acting CEO in 2022, and currently she's a marketing officer. And then Meleletu. I just want to check with our specialists if we have her. We'll be able to link with her. They're trying. Okay. Maybe let's proceed with our, you know, the panelist that is here, and then I will get, you know, an indication if then Meleletu is able to join us. I will start first with Me Renuka Ramrup, because today, it's a day that should not be one of those talk shows, you know, where we come and gather dressed, you know, you can see I look beautiful. Looking beautiful as we are, eat, and then, you know, just enjoy being together, then go home and forget about what happened today. I had Me Nakedi talking about implementation, and that is what is key in this country that we are really struggling about. I mean, if I can just say, how long have we been in dispensation? And yet, we are still talking about emancipating a woman. It drives me mad. And my vice president knows about it. And even Ms. Cecilia knows we've been fighting at SASCOC, but we've made strides. We have made strides, and that's why we are here today. And maybe just to share, on Monday, I was invited to attend a policy conference in Gauteng, where we are dealing with women issues. It was Women Policy Conference that is supposed to be tabled in Parliament. So we are working tirelessly. And it's important that we come and empower ourselves so that when we go out there and make sure that the legislation really talks to our issues, that's when we'll see us being empowered. Some of us, we're just bulldozing, squeezing ourselves, even when the legislation, the odds are against us. But we are managing. So today, it's about the how part. Giving each other, how to implement what is documented. And even how to empower ourselves in terms of changing those legislations that are becoming a stumbling block in us going forward. So you'll hear from the experts. We are here about giving each other the how part and how to implement. As I've indicated, I'm starting with Me Renuka. And I would like her to set the path, right? And start the conversation in, obviously, her expertise in sharing with us in terms of what would be key and important for her to share with us in terms of, obviously, her level of expertise and experience. Me Renuka.
Hello, everyone. I think for me, I will just go straight to the point in terms of what I find the most important when it comes to having to go out there and look for partners and look for sponsorships to support your organization. I think what we must remember that when you go out there, people want to have confidence in you. So you have to be able to project yourself in terms of saying, okay, this is why it is good for you to invest in me. So therefore, the image and the integrity that we project to the people that we want to partner with is very important. So when I took over fencing in Limpopo, one of the first things I did was to turn it into a non-profit company so that we can have partners we can widen our partnership. The other thing that I did was to ensure, and I raised money for that, to make sure that our accounting system was good. Because if we don't have that, if we don't have a functioning bank account, we don't have financial statements to show to people, and if we can't afford it, to do an audit, and if we have our executive committee all in place, we give people who we are approaching confidence in our ability. And we give them confidence to say, okay, these are the people we would like to partner with. So for me, that is one of the key things, is the integrity that you project to the people you want to partner with. Remember, whoever wants to partner with you, they want something back. And you must be able to say, okay, if you partner with me, this is what we can do for you. This is what our partnership will mean for both of us. So it becomes a symbiotic partnership, not just a matter of taking, it's also a matter of giving. And as an organization, you need to be able to discuss and understand how will you be able to promote the organization that you want to partner with. So I think to kick off the conversation, for me, that would be the most important thing, is that we have to show integrity, we have to show financial soundness, financial accountability, and we have to show that we are committed to the partnership in the give and take that we want to have from the partners.
Okay. Maybe just taking the conversation forward, right? Obviously, as we went through your CV, you have been exposed to, your rural and urban areas. And it's critical that we get to the bottom of, the conversation. We are in Limpopo. I'm originally from here, right? I'm as well exposed to different, urban, rural, but the dynamics are different, right? When you go to Gauteng, for instance, there's access to a whole lot of information. There's access to, as you say, we are able to, put the dots because there's information out there put for us, right? And we are saying in Limpopo we want to take our province from where it is now to the next level. Because it's a showcase. Limpopo is a hub of champions, right? And we are feeding other provinces and we are tired of that. So we are saying we want to be like them and compete, you know, fair and squarely so. So with what you have just said, because for me, you are dealing with the governance issues, which are very critical. You know, your executive, how the executive is structured, how your, you know, entity is registered. We want to take it down to level here, all of us, so that we understand what these issues are. Because people will, time and again, get to, you know, find themselves having to read to Ronale what they call governance. What is that? You know? So today we are dissecting all these jargon. So, for a person who is in the rural areas, somewhere in Vembe, deep next to the border gate of, you know, Messina, somewhere, you know, doesn't have internet, doesn't have access to information, but they have the talent, they have the love of what they do, and they participate every day within their communities. But then how do we then make sure that we get to that level? And I can tell you, most of the federations, when it gets to their memberships, you know, at that level, you find that they don't even have the bank accounts. So there's no cent to show anyone to say, oh, Renale statement. You know, how do we then bring them closer to what you've been mentioning as, you know, the first steps that they can take to reach what you were talking about?
Well, I think the most important thing would be the partnership and the support that they get from structures within the province to be able to help rural organizations to get to a point where they have a functioning bank account and where they can have financial accountability if that is not in place. So I think it's up to us, people who are here in the know, the Confederation, the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, to be able to ensure that all federations have those foundational things in place to ensure good governance, because the good governance from the ground will ensure good governance going right to the top. So that becomes the basis of your good governance. So many organizations, many sports federations work with volunteers. So the partnerships that we have with the relevant people provincially and nationally is key. That partnership is key for ensuring good governance and development and taking the growth and development of the sport. And you know, I often found, I'm working in this province for 30 years and I've worked in rural villages. And my experience of rural villages is that it's actually not that difficult to organize in rural villages, because once you have your chief and your leaders in the village on board, a lot of things can happen. So it's about getting to the bare basics of what constitutes a good organization and using those basics in any setting. So whether you're in Polokwane or in a rural village, you need to have those basics in place in terms of how you operate, how you partner, how you speak to people. Because if you also speak to people in a manner where you are not humble, not engaging, you will also create blocks. So you want to create open partnership, open communication. And that you can have in a village, and that you can have in Polokwane, and that you can have at national. So it's just that the setting and the dynamics and the partnership changes. But rural villages, you can organize a lot. People are closer with each other. There's more interfacing, and you need to get your key people on board, and thereafter you can move forward. That was my experience 20 years ago. Whether things have changed, I don't know. But when I did work in the villages in Palabora and Giyani, that was my experience.
Thank you very much. And unfortunately, we only have 45 minutes, right? But we want to do justice to the process. And I will turn to Mentor Viseng. Hey, I'm stirring today. You're not going to manage. So Mentabi saying from her profile, she's an expert in marketing, right? Now, we want her to share this information and bring it to us in the rural, deep rural, to say, okay, how do I get myself to those platforms where I get known by the entire country? Because that's where the moolah comes, you know? A minute I get known, then the ching-ching comes in. So, Mentabi saying, can you just share with us in relation to your expertise, what do you think, would benefit the constituency from your point of view?
Thank you very much. Can I kill a mayor, Sissy? Thank you very much, Ismlata. I think before I answer that, the first mistake we make is always looking for money. The first mistake we make is always looking for money, because sponsorship is not really always about money. You can literally run an event worth 100,000 and not spend a single cent. If you need water, go to people who work with water, like Miss Renuka. I almost said Ramatsula. I did that on purpose. As Ms. Renuka said, it is very, very important when we are looking for sponsorships. What am I benefiting? If I just want water and you serve water, what are you benefiting? If you're giving me water and I've got a platform where people can see your company, we are both benefiting. So the mistake we made, one, is always looking for finances. Yes, we need money, but money is not the only thing that runs, a business. Secondly, if you want to be out there, as far as media is concerned, people tend to make this mistake to say, no, me, I want to be on Capricorn FM, I want to be on Metro FM. Go to your immediate society, your immediate community. There's a boy in the garage there. I'm just going to give an example. I'm not saying Rojwalo. Mulech, for example. Please, but for Mulech, you don't kill me. It's just an example. There's a local radio station. Go to Mulech radio station. Even if they only have 100 listeners, if 5 people listen to you, it is enough for you to be heard out there. There's that boy in the garage who's doing a podcast. You know these 2000s, they're naughty, these ones. Next thing, the kid has a microphone. You don't know where the microphone is from. And it's got 50 people. Go support that kid, because your business is going to be visible. So I think from my side, I'm also looking at time, with regards to the media side of things, let's not always go too high, go into immediate community, go into immediate society with sponsorships as well. I'm going to give a simple example. We ran an event called the Sports Jam Festival. Most of the event itself, the event ran itself and paid for itself without us spending almost nothing, because you must go to the right people, get the right sponsorships, and also be brand conscious. Simple example, what do I mean by that? If I'm in cricket, I can't go look for a sponsorship that does not serve the purpose of cricket. What do I mean by that? Water would serve me more than a banana. Why? The guys are on the field for 10 hours, and then you're going to now go and ask for bananas, which are going to make them fool the whole game and won't even be able to play. So we should also be able to look at those those things. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm just going to run quickly, so that we give, the floor enough time to ask critical questions, right? Memunira, looking gorgeous as always. May you kindly share with us, because you saw it was governance, we went to marketing, and obviously through your profile, media is your thing. You've been around, and we know that, we will get a lot of information, and from now on, we'll see ourselves on TV, right? The stage is yours. What is it that you think would be critical to share with the constituency that will unlock these blockages that we have in Limpopo as a province in terms of finding ourselves, in the media space? Because most of the time we say, Gauteng, like we exist, guys. What is it that we are not doing correctly?
I think, starting off with, as Tabi Singh has said,
No, it's not.
Hello? Ah, there we go, sorry.
Talking about your local radio stations and stuff, I find that, okay, let me make an example of my organization, for instance. I work a lot with local radio stations, local newspapers, and local podcasters and communities where they really do a lot in getting yourself or your brand out there. And that's important. And yes, it's true, people do overlook that and they want the bigger stations and stuff. But the bigger stations, what they don't realize is that the bigger stations get their content from your local stations. But also your local stations get to the people that you want to get to. If you are out in a village in Guyana and there's a local radio station there, people are very loyal in those areas to their local media and will continuously support their local media. So that is key and that is important. I think, yes, we go and we say that, maybe there might not be internet access and stuff, but your phones are your biggest tools in today's world. It doesn't have to be an iPhone 15, as long as it, as long as you can get internet access to it, or you can do, some phones come with packages where you can do stuff on looking at your governance issues. You find that a lot of your local clubs and organizations, it's not only in the rural areas, mind you, but they still do a lot of stuff. They've got piles, they're killing trees, they're still killing the trees. Whereas if you look at a simple, where you say people don't have an accounting system or they're not recording, you have Excel. Kids learn Excel at school today. So you take one of the kids to put the stuff together for you, volunteer at the club. Also teach them, community give back from a young age so that they understand that for me to be built, I need to build the next person, So your simple Excel spreadsheets in recording your daily transactions. Bank accounts, it's so easy to open a bank account today. And yes, and again, not only in the rural areas, even in the urban areas, you do find organizations that don't have bank accounts. It's going into Lwandile's account there. She's running the club, but everything is there in her account. She controls, the card, the everything. You get to she decides who she pays and who she doesn't pay, but which is incorrect. Whereas, as an organization, having a bank account and then that you're accountable to signatories and stuff like that is key and it's important. Also looking at, when it comes to your membership fees and stuff like that, where people are like, we only collect cash. Cash is a problem these days. You can't keep putting money under your mattress. But you get, even your Capitec has a machine these days where I think it's 1.7% or something that they would charge. And you don't really need anything on it, People can come and tap their cards there or pay with their cards. There's a lot of things that are available in the market. And yes, maybe from an educational perspective, it's looking at saying, we want to upskill our clubs in the local areas because, look, without proper governance, nobody's going to look at you or come and be part of your event or come and sponsor you. So yes, that's where it starts. But maybe it's then looking at and saying, how do we get, somebody from ABSA here. Sorry, we mentioned Capitec, but yeah. I forgot, ABSA is one of our partners. Sorry, ABSA. But ABSA also has those little machines and stuff like that. It's maybe taking ABSA, for instance, to whether it's the local sport confederation, the regional sport confederations, and educating them about basic banking principles. But also ABSA, you must offer them the cheapest account. Sometimes 175 Rand a month is a lot for a club, So have those options available and understand that. And also understand that for somebody in a rural area where they're sitting there and going, 175 Rand for me to pay for a bank account where I've got nothing in is a lot. How do I then still maintain my governance so that I look attractive and I am attractive to a potential partner or a sponsor while making sure that my stuff is in order? Again, it's looking at Word documents, where you put up Word documents on how, Cecilia can't be the one that buys the netball balls. She can't be the one that decides we need netball balls, then the one that goes and find a supplier for it, then also the same person that goes and pay there for it. There's got to be a process in place
where you have people in place. And I know it's difficult, especially in your local sporting organizations. Volunteers come and go because not everybody has the time or the resources or even the financial capabilities to be able to volunteer. But if you have a process in place and you are able then to also justify that, I mean, even your lotto funding and stuff today, they want certain documentation, they want to see certain things. And if you're putting money under the mattress there, you're continuously collecting cash and you don't even have a receipt for it, you're not going to move forward in any way. But also again, looking at water, for instance. I'm having an event and I need water. I'm giving you water, and maybe, yes, it's 200 Rand worth of water, but that 200 Rand is, for me, it's a lot. You might look, they only give me 200 Rand water. You have, like most organizations, or they should have, social media pages and stuff. Just a little post, thank you so much for your water, this and that. It goes a long way because I want to see what I'm getting out of it. It might be 200 Rand and it might be nothing for you, but it's everything to the person that is giving because, yes, they want to grow their brand, number one. Number two, they're looking at how do they tap into a market that they haven't necessarily tapped into. And that's important. Remember, a sponsor or partner comes to you because they want to tap into a market that they haven't necessarily tapped into. Like, you know, we had very difficult conversations yesterday with Metropolitan about where they put what and how. And it's not difficult per se, but in a sense, they want to know how do they tap into the market that is here today. Everybody has policies, everybody has different, there's different aspects of policies, but have they tapped into the sports market? And are you going to be the catalyst that's going to assist them in tapping into that sports market? VW is out here. See, last night they were here as well. They insisted on putting their branding up last night and stuff because they want you to drive a VW. You know, it's not always about what you want, but it's about what is the sponsor or the partner's objective, and how do you take theirs and yours, and you both reach a common goal. She stopped listening to me.
Thank you very much. Yo, Monira, my ear is very sharp. You know, nothing can cross my head. Or, you know,
Oh, thank you, dear.
I've heard everything. And I will go to Dr. Sembalo because I just want to make sure that we are within the time. The questions can be weighed back to the panel. Dr. Sembaloi, we had his profile. He's a leadership of note, and he will advise us. You know, I mean, we are from different federations, wearing different caps, leading in our own respective right. So he will give context to this thing called leadership. And obviously, in line with what has been said, you know, as a leader, you know, I know I'm a brand as I'm standing here, right? But how do I make myself fly? You get what I'm saying? How do I commercialize this brand that is standing before you? And so that it makes economic sense. I mean, with sports, we've been volunteers for as long as I can remember, to date. So, Tata Sem, may you kindly share your experience and expertise and what you think would be feasible for us to know and carry home and become flyers, you know, the next day.
Well, if you want to fly, you buy wings. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I see the long-standing principle of women first. It's still applying here, but we'll talk after. I direct a company called Par Excellence. Like I said, my background is banking and currently exploring the human resource management because that is the space that we are operating in. The issue about leadership is that there is no organizational effective leadership until there is effective personal leadership. So I'll talk about two concepts, and that is efficiency and effectiveness. These are two different concepts because we have women in sports that are efficient yet not effective, because the measure of your success, it's not out of your efficiency. but it's out of your effectiveness. So you can find yourself being busy from January to December with projects, you are here and there, but at the end of the day, you've got no results to show for it. Because effectiveness is the measure of success, not efficiency. Activity does not necessarily mean productivity. So productivity is not measured against how busy you are. It's measured against what kind of the quality of business you are in. Because the measure of business success is profit, not the activity. So we have business people who are busy, yet not productive. So in the organizations, in the confederations, in the organizations that people have, we do not put anybody because we are doing them a favor in a leadership position, but we put capacity there. So it doesn't matter the color of your skin, it doesn't matter your background. What matters is, do you have the capacity in order for you to be in that leadership position? Because leadership is providing direction. You can never take us anywhere if you yourself doesn't have direction. So the personal space is linked to the public space manifestations. What you do in the public space, it's a reflection of what you have developed from your personal space. So you can't be a woman in leadership or a woman who leads effectively if in your personal space you don't lead effectively. We need to see the tap of your basin. Is it still shiny or it has got drops of toothpaste? We need to look at how you are leading yourself from your personal space, and that will be reflected perennially and invariably in the public space. So this is like pregnancy. You know that you can't hide pregnancy. You can say you are not pregnant after vomiting 2 or 3 times and you accustom it to COVID-19. We will believe you, but after 3 months, the belly will start showing that it was never COVID in the first place. There was something else. So your behavior in the public space, it's always a reflection of what you have had time to inculcate from your personal space. So women that are seated here, if you want to win, you win first as a person before your organization can win. Because what you contribute into the organization, it's what you intrinsically possess. You can't give out what you don't have.
Yo, that's hectic. That is hectic. And, hey, you know?
Thank you.
And I'm quite sure better introspection, each one of us, to say, where am I? Am I on the right track? Am I effective? Or what is happening? Right? And as you've said that, remember we are about sponsorship and marketing, right? You have obviously alluded to us that we need to project the real us, not something else, right? But then how do I then position this leader, as I said, as a brand, link it to, obviously, the marketing side of things? How do I then get to where, yes, I'm known in Limpopo, in the dance sport, and yes, being effective and efficient, but we can't seem to be moving like Mabogobogo. You know? You get what I'm saying? We have, Miss Cecilia, is it 75 leadership sporting codes in the country? 76, right? Can you hear how many sporting codes we have in the country? Yes, yes. Okay, all right. Thank you, leadership. Officially registered, ne? 76, but there are those that are not registered. And we want to compete with the global space, right? And we are still not even halfway through the federations or sporting codes that are competing at a global level. And we are trying to say, I mean, from all the provinces building up to the national and obviously to the global space where we can then compete in so many, as much as possible, you know, sporting codes to position our country. right? But then how do we then, given the fact that we are in Limpopo, with few, because most of the time they would say, we have prioritized sporting codes and others are left behind and we seem not to be moving, you know? And with a lot of challenges that we have in the country, and, you know, teenagers and all that, we know, right? Why can't we open the space so that we don't have challenges that we're having? And if we can open for all those federations, it will mean more employment. We are struggling about employment, you know. So how do I, as somebody who is in the rural area, who is known, yes, in the province, yes, we go to Tobela when we have our events, yes, we are linked to our local media stations. But then how do I take this leader and this federation to the next level? So that, because yes, we are in our province acknowledges us, right? But we are struggling as a province to move to the next level. That's where we want to break through. So how do we then link what you are saying to the marketing side of things so that we can play in the bigger space?
I heard you. Impact is a byproduct of feedback. You cannot want to be a global champion when you are a village non-entity. You first win locally before you can go globally. What takes you globally is your winning locally. So we need to encourage that where people are as of now, that's where they need to make the impact and get the feedback out of the village they are serving. It is that feedback that will naturally and organically propel you to the next level of influence, because it is positioning yourself as an accident waiting to happen. If you have not yet made an impact where you are and have got the feedback for it, that you launch into a level higher than your capacity, you'll be exposed as somebody who doesn't know what they are doing. So win where you are, and the results of your winning where you are will propel you to the next level.
I think our panel have said a mouthful. We are going to just make remarks from each and every panelist, and then so that we can go into the question and answer session. I will go back to Meronuka. Just your closing remarks on obviously what we have, you know, alluded to as a panel. How do we then move forward, and what are your remarks in this case?
I think I would like to reiterate the whole notion of good governance. I think that is absolutely the key for everything. And I think also just, sort of being yourself in terms of, like you say, knowing who you are, being confident and being passionate. If you're passionate about what you're doing, if you're really committed to the growth and development of your sport and to good governance and to getting a whole lot of things in, that is what you will project to the outside world. So I think, be true to who you are and what you want to do, and really honor the partnerships you make. Honor the people who are working in your organization as volunteers, because we are all volunteers, and honor the people, the partnerships you want to make with the people that you want to that sponsor you or partner with you. So if you get for example, we got money from Lotto, I got to make sure that I give back everything that they want in terms of their statements, whatever, their branding, their pictures, whatever. So you know what your sponsors want, and give back exactly what they want so that you can maintain your relationship. So I think for me, good governance is the most important, the foundation.
All right. Men Tabiseng? Oh, Sis Tabiseng and Miss Tabiseng.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to keep it straight, simple and straightforward, especially in the marketing space. Believing in yourself is the first. Good, if you don't believe in yourself in marketing, forget it. Secondly, you must always be willing to take risks. That one thing that people say you can't do, if you don't take risks in marketing, forget it. Don't even bother joining the marketing bandwagon. It's quite hectic here. But most of all, character is everything. You know, how you carry yourself around people, how you communicate with people. Because you can't be a marketing officer and you're rude, or you can't be a marketing officer and you can't express yourself. Because how am I going to give you money if you can't even speak? Can't come there and look at me and be like, so I think let me just keep it to that. Believing in yourself, have good character, and always be willing to take risks.
Memunira?
For me, I think just accountability and transparency. Always hold yourself accountable for everything that you do, for whatever you seek, and especially when it comes to your sponsors and partners, and always have transparency.
Tata Sam?
Achievement is personal, legacy is generational. If you don't leave a legacy, you leave a vacancy, which means by the time you cease to exist, nobody wants to emulate you because you never left any good steps for others to follow. You are a liability and not an asset.
Wow. I think we can give a better round of applause than that. No, Lady Sam, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. We are going to take a 15 minutes round of question and answers for anyone who might be having questions. I want us to, once again, I think for this one, you may sit there so that they also have questions for yourself. I want us to give a round of applause once more to our facilitator, Advocate Mulatelo Mahapa. And I want us to also give another round of applause to our panelists, Monira Ramatula, Dr. Renuka Ramrup, Ntabiseng Posa, Lele Tunkula, and Mr. Sam Baloy. I wanted to ask Ntabiseng, do you need honey in that water? Is honey missing? All right. I know. This is the big league. You see, we are even taking care of our panelists. So myself and Riabetwe will do a round of questions, at least 2 rounds of questions. Please ask a question straight to the point, and when the panelists also respond, because in 15 minutes time, or even less, we'll need to have wrapped up those ones. No, Siri, don't do this to me now. Right, can we please see a hand? I see a hand at the back. You'll be number 1. Number 2. Do we have other hands? Number 3. Don't force that hand to go up. Number 4. And the last one? Right. Okay, you'll be the last one. So number 5, and then you'll be the last one. And represent all the lady males today. First question.
Good morning. I'd like to observe all protocol. It's going to be a question. I'll try and be as quick as possible, but it's also common because it's something that we really need to think about. My name is Ra Leboga. To the panel, my question is, do you think we talk about partnership and stakeholder engagement, and my question is, do you think we really know how to link it up as federations? And this, like, if you go on Monday and you want to start implementing certain things, do we as federations and you as a panel, do we really know how to link it up? And I'll explain what I mean when I make a comment. And to the federations, do we know what we're dealing with from ourselves as federations and as well as our athlete? So there's a program that's called Holistic Approach to Athlete Management. And a lot of federations think they are actually doing that in terms of the mind, body, and soul. They'll tell you, we take care of our athletes' mind, body, and soul. We take care of skills development. And over a lot of research that has been done over 11 years, I'll tell you, when we speak about an athlete, we speak about modules. I mean, that's how we empower them in terms of I think one of the speakers spoke about computer skills, personal management, etiquette and grooming, stress, financial management, and we talk about branding. But do we understand that we're supposed to teach our athlete that they are the business, how to brand themselves, in terms of media and marketing, getting to know yourself, getting to understand how you portray yourself. In terms of I mean, we hold federations together, but we forget to also bring in your sports, arts and culture, your health, your education. That's equally important because those are your stakeholders and partners. From your sports, we focus on the skills. From your arts and culture, I mean, I'll give you an example with a soccer player. Most of the time, when we teach our soccer players, we also take them to dance. And a lot of them would go like, but why dance? How does it help me? I mean, it's brilliant in terms of your core, but it's brilliant in terms of your movement. So we sit as different sporting coaches, but we do not know how to picky pocket from each other. And your arts and culture, if you don't understand your heritage...
As you wrap up, ne?
I am wrapping
As you
up.
wrap up.
I am wrapping up.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm bringing in the other... I mean, we need to bring in ECDs, NPOs, because when we do that, you'd be able to say, this is a child-headed household. On court, this is what's affecting them, but at home. Because if you don't do it holistically, you always have an athlete that's